Well, hello, everybody. Let's welcome our wonderful guest, Paul Wirth, to On Deck with Dawson and Dawson. Hey, Paul, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Kathy. Thanks for having me today.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. We have a history together, so it's super exciting for me to have you here. So who the heck is Paul Wirth? Well, you're here to find out today. He is the Value Acceleration Advisor at Blueprint for Growth. I love your background, Paul. That is amazing. I feel like I want to go out and read those blueprints right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, life is all about setting a plan and following it through. And if you have it in writing, it's a whole lot easier to accomplish things.
Yes, yes, super technical too, which is always interesting to me how to get that technology to be part of what you do everyday life. So anyway, I'm like I said, super happy to have you here. We have some great questions ready in the queue for you. I've known Paul for several years now and have been very impressed with his ability to help companies grow. And that's what he's here to talk to us about today, is to talk to companies that are out there, of our 19,000 listeners, to see exactly who he can help and why you want to ask him to help you. So our first question is, what do you think most business owners are missing in the way they run companies today?
I think that, it depends obviously on the size of an organization, but I think most businesses today are truly missing structure in their organization.
Sure.
Many people start their businesses because they're great at delivering a product, or selling a service. And all of a sudden, the business grows to a point where, they come into their business, they look out at the room of 50, 60, 70 people, and they break out in this cold sweat, realizing that while I know how to deliver that product or service, I don't know how to really run the business. So I think today it's about structure.
That's such a good point too, because everybody feels like they have structure, but they don't really know if it's good or not. So I think the word good is very important here. So tell me a little bit about how you help companies, get structure. And if you don't mind, can you tell our listeners a little bit about your history? Because it's such an interesting history. You were in building industry and other industries, running systems and processes and people. And so there's a lot of reason why you might be a good person to call to help with structure.
Absolutely, Kathy. So my career began as most individuals in corporate America, and I worked my way up through the ranks in banking, finance, home building, worked for both Fortune 500 companies as well as startups, had national positions in charge of sales and marketing, managed 18 different markets across the United States with a few hundred employees, regional.
Oh my gosh.
And quite a bit of responsibility. But sometime, I don't know, probably about halfway through my career, I got the entrepreneurial bug inside of me and decided to do things on my own. And I started with a infill home building business in Florida.
Wow.
Remaining lots that the developers just wanted to move on from because it wasn't profitable for them if they had 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 lots left. And I would go ahead with a partner, finish out the community and move to the next one.
Oh my gosh, how fun for you.
It was a lot of fun. That business I exited successfully. Also started a mortgage company, and
oh my gosh,
very, very well for a number of years. And then,
and
so I come from a perspective of both working in corporate America, where everything was very, very structured. In fact, I created a lot of the structures for the organizations that I worked for, to having my own entrepreneurial endeavors and realizing that I needed to put into force the things that I put into force in the large organizations and the startups that I work for.
Oh my gosh, that's why I wanted you to say that. That's a lot of information. So you've owned multiple businesses, you've run multiple businesses, and I heard 200 plus people. Oh my gosh, that is most business owners' nightmare, because it's so hard to run so many moving parts and moving things. So that leads me to my next question. So how does Blueprint for Growth differ from other systems that you've used? Because I know you've used several.
Very true. Very true. There are 3 things that I help an organization focus on and do better. One of them is clarity, gaining clarity of their vision, where they're going, and helping the organization get 100% compliance with all the other individuals within their organization to row in the same direction. Second thing that we do is we create a plan, a business plan, a blueprint, as you will, for what they want for the future of their organization. And through that blueprint building, we bring our client, the business owner, the president, their leadership team, through a discovery of answering 9 critical questions in their business so that by the time that they're done with that exercise, they have a clear vision of what they want for their organization for the long term. And then
Wow.
the third thing that we do is I help with the execution of that plan. It's one thing for people to spend the time putting a plan together, putting their heart and soul into it. And then when they get back into the whirlwind of their business, like most of us, we end up taking that plan, putting it in the drawer in our desk, and doing things the way that we've historically done them. And I
Mm.
act as an accountability partner for my clients, where on a regular basis, whether it be monthly or quarterly, I work with them one-on-one, one to group, and hold them accountable for the promises, not that they make to me, but the promises that they make to each other. And so
Wow.
every quarter we get together, we have one of those offsite meetings where we look back on the last 90 days, see how well we did, see where maybe we fell off the conveyor belt, what we need to do to get things back in shape, and
Right.
then plan for the next quarter.
Wow. It sounds super organized, super focused, and like you have a task list for everybody. Is that right?
They create that task list, but yes, they set the agenda for what they want to accomplish in their business.
Wow. How exciting for you to be part of that collaboration and to know inside your heart that you're responsible for them getting to where they probably couldn't have gotten without you. I mean, that just must make you happy.
There's so many great satisfactions of the work that I do, and that certainly is one of them.
Oh, that's awesome. So, why did you become a certified exit planning advisor?
One of the things that I noticed with my clients, many of my clients were family-run businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them, but many.
Uh-huh.
And I found that those that were family-run businesses, the founders wanted at some point in time to exit the business. And they really didn't know what to do in order to create that succession plan, whether it be through relatives that they brought into the business, or maybe they just wanted to sell the company at some point in time.
Makes
And
sense.
quite often business owners, create a lifestyle business for themselves, but
Right.
not necessarily a business in which they could turn around and hand off to a third party purchaser of that business so that they can be as successful, if not more. And I felt that I had a deficiency in my knowledge of how to help that particular demographic within my clientele base. And so I decided that it was time to work with the Exit Planning Institute, a great organization who had a
Mm-hmm.
wonderful program where I learned a lot of the techniques to help organizations look at a succession plan, look at options, whether it be to sell the business, to pass it down to another generation, or even to create an ESOP for the
Right.
business, what have you.
Right. Or a nonprofit, or many things that you could do once you get in there and see where they're at. And I've heard of people doing like splits, and you have 4 companies versus the one. I mean, it's really exciting stuff. So becoming certified was a really big step on your part. And I'm so proud of you for doing that. You're super smart anyway. So the fact that you did that just makes me even happier. So I wanted you to tell a story about one of your clients that actually came to you and help our listeners kind of understand how you help that client.
I have 2 stories, if I can
Please.
indulge the audience for just a moment or two. One story, and this has to do with both family-run businesses. One organization was an organization where the founder of the company was 70 years old, in
Wow.
excellent health, but he had a 5-year plan where he
Okay.
wanted to step not out of the business completely, but enough to where he can live a lifestyle that he had worked his entire life to achieve. And
Right.
so he brought his daughter into the business and was teaching the daughter the ropes. But here too, they just didn't have a process by which they can impart information from one generation to the next in
Mm,
order for him to be successful in passing that business on to them, onto her, where he can again step aside and be the visionary of the organization as opposed
mhm,
to the operator of the business.
mhm,
And
mhm.
so they are well on their way to accomplishing that, and everything is going full steam.
Wow,
Another,
that's exciting.
another situation is with an organization that is currently operating with the 4th generation of their uh,
Wow, that's a lot of generations there, Paul.
86-year-old company. They brought the 5th generation into the business, which is a son right out of college and a nephew.
Mhm, mhm.
And for them, it's not about exiting. They want to continue to create this legacy business for generations to come. but they know that they have to begin to look outside the organization to bring in some new talent, to also acquire other companies within their space and other geographies. And so we're working together to accomplish that. And the way that we do that is first by building that foundation, that structure within the organization so that they can run their business as effectively and as efficiently as possible before they can think about bringing on another organization into their fold.
Yeah, that's great information because I knew that you did a lot of that, right? But I didn't know that you helped with the M&A part too. And I didn't know you were certified. So that's really good news. But then, I have a lot of friends and family and so forth that are in businesses as well. And so a lot of my clients, will be at that position in the next, 3 to 5 years. So it's great information for them to be hearing right now. So I wanted to ask you, why do you do what you do? You have this inner joy about you that is very nice to be around. And I just wondered, what motivates you?
And that's a great question. And, I've taken some time to really think about my why, as I often ask my clients
Yes.
their why as well.
Yes.
And I always feel terrible when I drive down the street and I see a going out of business sign.
Yeah.
And I think about how sad that is for the business owner who put their heart and soul into their business, who hired people, their families rely on the success of the individuals within that organization. And now, for whatever reason, the business isn't working out. And, I always wanted to help. I have a help first mentality. And through the work that I did in my corporate life and through the work that I've done in my own businesses, I learned that the best way that I can give back to society is by helping those business owners who find themselves in situations in which they know they need to change how they operate their business in order to be successful. And I am excited to be part of that process, helping these organizations grow and flourish.
That's so exciting to them too, because not only do they have someone who's super smart and help them, but it actually helps them physically, mentally, all those things too, because you're able to move forward with what you want to do in your life. So, so I have a little secret to share, and that is that Paul is my coach. Hey, Paul. And I'm sharing that with you because I have to tell you, we started doing coaching with Paul, right before COVID. It was probably 6 months before COVID hit us. And it's the best 6 months our company has had. We were able to do a lot of this work that he's talking about, and we're able to grow and keep everybody in their lanes, as we like to say, and keep everybody doing what they need to be doing. And then we recently hired a director in Colorado because of the growth we've been having, and we'll probably be over 20 employees when we're about 14 right now. So Paul, your work for Dawson Dawson has been remarkable. What you've done internally with our teams, helping with the politics of the company and the processes of the company. I see the 2 Ps, right? Because the politics and the processes, they have to go together, or if they don't, you'll be stonewalled and things won't happen as well. So you have created this ability to speak to people at all different levels that's very attractive to most companies that I would work with as well. So I just want to say a huge thank you. We are doing the things that you've suggested we do, and we couldn't be happier. So for those listeners out there, I am a good testimonial for Paul if you need one. And he's done an amazing job, not only focusing us, but helping us look at the future. And so I really appreciate that. And I was so excited to have you on our program because of the success you've had with us. But more importantly, I wanted to share my secret because, all my clients and candidates alike have people who could probably use your services. So thank you, Paul, from the bottom of Dawson Dawson's heart for doing all that you've done for us.
Well, it's been a joy for me as well, Kathy, working with you and your team.
Excellent. All right. Well, we know how to reach Paul. All you've got to do is call or click on the below information, and Paul will be ready to tell you what you need to hear, even if you're not ready, because you need to know it. All right. Thanks again, Paul.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Kathy.
your time.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.